She had only $30 to celebrate her twin's birthday. The billionaire CEO watching at the next table was her ex who abandoned her and his kids. He realized the truth he couldn't run from. A mother counts crumpled bills in her car. 27, 28, $30. That's all she has for her twin's 4th birthday dinner. Inside the restaurant she's about to enter, a billionaire sits alone. His suit costs $15,000. His watch, more than most people make in a year. His empire spans continents. He has no idea she's outside. No idea she's about to walk through those doors. No idea that the woman he abandoned 3 years ago is carrying the children he never knew existed. His children. When their eyes meet across that restaurant, everything will shatter. Every lie he told himself. Every wall he built. Every reason he gave for walking away. Because tonight, Dominic Sterling Blackwood will come face to face with the twins who have his eyes. Before we dive into this story of second chances and devastating secrets, I need to ask something. This video took over 24 hours to create. Every scene, every emotion, every heartbreaking detail. It all comes from pouring my soul into crafting the perfect story for you. If you're already hooked, could you hit that subscribe button? It would mean the world to me and help me bring you more stories that'll have you crying, screaming, and believing in love again. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. Tell me in the comments, if someone abandoned you when you needed them most, could you ever forgive them? Because what Sienna's about to face will test every limit. Charleston, South Carolina, where Spanish moss drapes ancient oaks and million-dollar secrets hide behind iron gates. Sienna Williams sits in her beat-up Honda, engine ticking as it cools. She stares at Brennan's Steakhouse through her cracked windshield. The same restaurant where she used to work. Where she first met him. Her fingers trace the edges of 30 crumpled dollars. Emma and Ethan turn 4 tomorrow. 4 years since she gave birth alone. 4 years since their father disappeared like smoke. Mommy, are we eating fancy food? Ethan bounces in his car seat, blue eyes sparkling with excitement. Those eyes. God, those eyes that look just like... Yes, baby. Tonight we're celebrating. Her voice almost breaks. She'd planned this perfectly. One nice dinner at a restaurant she could barely afford. They'd share everything. She'd skip eating. But her babies would feel special for one night. What she hadn't planned for was seeing the black Aston Martin in the parking lot. License plate. Sterling 1. Of course. Dominic Sterling Blackwood still drives the same arrogant car. Still comes to their old place when guilt probably keeps him awake. If it keeps him awake at all. Sienna grips the steering wheel. She won't run. Her children deserve this birthday dinner, and she won't let the ghost of their father steal it from them. Inside, Dominic sits at his corner table. The same table where he used to wait for Sienna's shifts to end. Where he'd order expensive wine just to see her smile at his ridiculous tips. 3 years later, he still comes here monthly. Torturing himself with what-ifs. His phone lights up. Victoria. His wife in name only, texting about another charity event, another photo opportunity for their loveless marriage. A business arrangement that makes their families richer and them both miserable. He silences the phone. Tonight feels different somehow. The hostess approaches, nervous energy radiating from her. Mr. Blackwood? There's a family requesting a table. A birthday celebration for twins. The whiskey glass freezes halfway to his lips. Twins. That's when he sees her. Sienna walks through the entrance like a ghost from his most tortured dreams. Still beautiful in her worn clothes. Still carrying herself with that quiet strength that first stole his heart. But it's not her that makes his world tilt. It's the 2 children beside her. A boy and a girl. 4 years old. With piercing blue eyes. His eyes. The whiskey glass slips from his fingers and explodes against the marble floor. Every conversation in the restaurant stops. Every head turns. But Dominic only sees those eyes. Those impossible, beautiful, familiar eyes staring back at him. His children. The twins he never knew existed. And Sienna. God, Sienna sees him too. Her face goes white as paper. Her hand instinctively moves to shield the children. But it's too late. The truth is staring him in the face, and there's nowhere left to run. The glass shards catch the restaurant's amber light like fallen stars. Every conversation stops. Every eye turns toward the corner where Dominic Sterling Blackwood sits frozen, whiskey pooling around crystal fragments. But he only sees them. Two pairs of blue eyes. His eyes. Staring back at him from faces that carry his features mixed with Sienna's beauty. The hostess rushes over with napkins. "Sir, are you all right?" He can't answer. Can't breathe. Can't process what he's seeing. Because standing in the doorway, looking like she's seen a ghost, is the woman he's dreamed about for 3 years. And beside her are the children he never knew existed. Let me take you back to understand how we got here. How a love story that should have been Charleston's fairy tale became its most devastating tragedy. 3.5 years ago, Sienna Williams was different. She laughed easily then. Her eyes sparkled with dreams instead of exhaustion. She worked double shifts at this very restaurant, serving Charleston's elite while putting herself through business school. She had plans. Big plans. A catering company that would showcase Southern cuisine with a modern twist. A future built on her own terms. Then Dominic walked in. Picture him at 28. Heir to the Blackwood technology empire, worth $12 billion. Devastatingly handsome in that old money way that makes magazine covers. But there was something else in his eyes that October night. Something hungry. Desperate. He wasn't just another rich boy playing games. "Could I get the Macallan 25? His voice was smooth. Cultured. The kind that commands boardrooms and breaks hearts. Sienna poured the whiskey, her hand steady despite the way he watched her. "Rough day." Something like that. His smile didn't reach his eyes. "I'm supposed to be celebrating." "Supposed to be?" "My father announced my engagement today." The words fell like stones into still water. "To someone I've never loved. Someone I'll never love." Most servers would have walked away. Left him to his expensive problems. But Sienna saw something in his face. Pain that money couldn't fix. "That sounds lonely," she said quietly. And that's how it started. Not with grand gestures or lavish gifts. With truth. Raw, honest truth shared between strangers who recognized something broken in each other. What you need to understand about Dominic is that he'd been drowning long before he met Sienna. Suffocating under the weight of family expectations, board meetings, and a legacy that felt more like a prison than a privilege. His father, Reginald Blackwood, built their empire through calculated moves and strategic marriages. Emotion was weakness. Love was liability. And Dominic had been groomed since childhood to continue that tradition. "The Ashworth merger will secure our European expansion," Reginald explained that morning in his corner office overlooking Charleston Harbor. "Victoria is brilliant, well-connected, and understands the business. She's also cold as ice and about as interested in me as I am in her," Dominic replied. "Irrelevant. Marriage is a business transaction. Love is for poets and fools." But when Sienna laughed at something he said that first night, when she challenged his cynicism with genuine warmth, Dominic realized he'd been starving for something he didn't even know existed. Real connection. For 6 months, they met in secret. He'd slip away from board meetings to find her after her shifts. They'd walk along the harbor, talking until dawn. She'd tell him about her dreams for the catering business. He'd confess how trapped he felt in his gilded cage. "You could walk away," she said one night as they sat on his yacht, Charleston's lights twinkling around them. "And lose everything. My family, my legacy, my purpose. But gain your freedom." He kissed her then. Desperate, hungry, like a drowning man reaching for air. What Sienna didn't know was that Dominic's freedom came with a price. Every moment they stole together was borrowed time. His father had eyes everywhere, and the engagement to Victoria Ashworth was more than a business deal. It was a command. But love makes you reckless. It makes you believe you can rewrite the rules that have governed your entire life. For those 6 perfect months, Dominic let himself believe he could have both. He was wrong. The night Sienna told him about the pregnancy, they stood on the harbor pier where they'd shared their first kiss. The same pier where everything would shatter. "I'm scared," she whispered, her hand pressed to her still flat stomach. "But I'm happy too. We created something beautiful, Dom. Something that's ours." The nickname she'd given him, Dom. No one else had ever called him that. In her voice, it sounded like love itself. But standing there, watching her face glow with hope and joy, Dominic felt his world collapse. Because that morning, his father had delivered an ultimatum that changed everything. Marry Victoria by Christmas, or lose everything, including the power to protect the people you care about. Reginald Blackwood didn't make idle threats. He'd already started investigating Sienna's family. Her parents' small catering business that was struggling to stay afloat. Her younger brother's college scholarship that could disappear with a single phone call. "One word from me," his father had said, "and that girl's entire world crumbles. Unless, of course, she becomes irrelevant to you." So Dominic made the cruelest choice of his life. Standing on that pier, looking into Sienna's trusting eyes, he destroyed them both to save her. "This was a mistake," he said, his voice like ice. Each word carved chunks from his soul. "You were convenient, Sienna. A distraction. But this changes everything." The hope died in her eyes so fast it made him sick. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I never loved you. I'm saying this baby complicates things I can't have complicated. I'm saying we're done." She slapped him. Hard. The sound echoed across the water like a gunshot. "You're lying." Tears streamed down her face. "You're scared and you're lying." He wanted to break. Wanted to tell her the truth. Pull her into his arms. Promise they'd figure it out together. Instead, he stepped back. "Find someone else to play house with. I have a real life to get back to." He walked away without looking back. If he had, he would have seen her collapse onto the pier, sobbing into her hands. Would have seen the moment her heart shattered completely. 3 days later, Sienna moved to Colombia. She never told him about the twins. Never asked for money or support. She simply disappeared, taking his children and the last piece of his humanity with her. Now, standing in this restaurant with broken glass at his feet, Dominic faces the consequences of that choice. Emma and Ethan cling to their mother's sides, confused by the sudden attention. They're perfect. Absolutely perfect. Emma has Sienna's delicate features but his stubborn chin. Ethan has his mother's warmth in his eyes but carries himself with that unmistakable Blackwood confidence. His children. The children he walked away from without even knowing they existed. Sienna's face has gone white as paper. Her protective instincts kick in immediately. "Come on, babies," she whispers, trying to turn them toward a different section of the restaurant. "Let's find our table." But it's too late. Dominic is already moving, his legs carrying him across the restaurant without conscious thought. He stops 3 feet away, close enough to see the fear in Sienna's eyes, the way her hands tremble as she shields their children. Their children. Sienna. Her name tastes like regret and whiskey on his tongue. She lifts her chin, that fierce strength he fell in love with blazing in her dark eyes. "Dominic." Emma peeks around her mother's legs. "Mommy, who is that man?" The question hangs in the air like smoke. Heavy. Suffocating. Loaded with 4 years of pain and secrets. Sienna's mouth opens, but no words come. How do you explain the unexplainable? How do you introduce children to the father who abandoned them before they were born? Dominic crouches down, bringing himself to their eye level. His hands shake as he takes in every detail of their faces. The way Emma's hair curls just like Sienna's. The way Ethan tilts his head, curious and unafraid. "What are your names?" he asks softly. "I'm Emma," the little girl says proudly. "And this is my brother Ethan. We're 4 today. Well, tomorrow. But Mommy said we could celebrate tonight." 4 years old. The math is simple and devastating. "Happy birthday," Dominic manages, his voice rough with emotion. That's when Ethan steps closer, studying Dominic's face with the intensity of a child trying to solve a puzzle. You have my eyes, he says matter-of-factly. The words hit Dominic like a physical blow. Around them, the restaurant has gone silent. Servers pretend to be busy while straining to listen. Other diners crane their necks, sensing drama. But all Dominic can see is his son. His son. Looking at him with innocent curiosity and no idea that his entire world is about to change. Sienna's control finally snaps. Don't. The word comes out sharp, protective. Don't you dare pretend to care now. She scoops up both children, one in each arm despite how big they've gotten. They're too old to be carried like babies, but right now she needs them close. Needs to feel them safe against her chest. Mommy. Emma's voice is small, confused. We're leaving, Sienna says, not taking her eyes off Dominic. Right now. But as she turns to go, Emma's small hand reaches out toward Dominic. Don't cry, mister, she says sweetly. Birthdays are supposed to be happy. Only then does Dominic realize tears are streaming down his face. And as Sienna carries his children toward the exit, as his chance at redemption walks away, Dominic Sterling Blackwood makes a decision that will change all their lives forever. He's not letting them go again. Not this time. The hunt for his family is about to begin. Dominic stands in the restaurant's parking lot, watching Sienna's taillights disappear into Charleston's humid night. His hands shake as he pulls out his phone. 3 rings. 4. Marcus, I need everything you can find on Sienna Williams. Address, employment, everything. Now. His head of security doesn't question the urgency. Give me 20 minutes. 20 minutes to figure out how to undo 4 years of damage. 20 minutes to plan the most important campaign of his life. The campaign to win back his family. Sienna's apartment sits above Mrs. Chen's grocery store in downtown Charleston's forgotten district. Paint peels from the walls like old secrets. The stairs creak with every step. But it's home. Their home. She tucks Emma and Ethan into the twin beds they share in the tiny bedroom, her hands still trembling from the restaurant encounter. Mommy, why did you cry at dinner? Ethan asks, his blue eyes too knowing for a 4-year-old. Sometimes grown-ups get sad about old memories, baby. Was that man in our old memories? Sienna's heart clenches. So smart. Too smart. Close your eyes now. We'll have your real birthday party tomorrow, okay? She kisses both their foreheads, breathing in their sleepy warmth. In the living room, she collapses onto her second-hand couch and finally lets herself break. 4 years. 4 years of building walls around her heart. 4 years of telling herself she was better off without him. And one look at his face when he saw the children, and every defense crumbled. Because she saw something in his eyes tonight that she'd never seen before. Regret. Dominic's penthouse overlooks Charleston Harbor. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcase the city's glittering skyline, but he sees nothing except 2 pairs of blue eyes and Sienna's protective fury. Marcus arrives with a thin file. Too thin. She's invisible, boss. Works at Morning Glory Cafe downtown. Takes evening cleaning shifts at the Riverside office complex. Lives above Chen's Market on East Bay. That's it. What about the children? Emma and Ethan Williams. Attend Magnolia Elementary on scholarship. No father listed on any documents. No father listed. Each word is a knife twist. She never asked for money. Never filed for support. Nothing. Nothing. She disappeared completely after she left Charleston 4 years ago. Came back 8 months ago when her mother got sick. Dominic's chest tightens. Her mother. Cancer. She's in hospice care at St. Mary's. Christ. Sienna's been handling everything alone. Her mother's illness, raising twins, working multiple jobs to survive. While he's been drowning in whiskey and self-pity. I want protection on them. Discreet. And find out everything about their routine. Marcus hesitates. Dom, maybe you should think about this. She made it clear tonight. She made it clear she's protecting them. From me. Dominic stares out at the harbor. But they're my children, Marcus. I won't abandon them again. Even if she hates me for it. Morning comes too early for Sienna. The alarm screams at 5 a.m., and she drags herself to Morning Glory Cafe, leaving the twins with Mrs. Patterson down the hall. 60-year-old Mrs. Patterson, who watches them for free because she knows Sienna can't afford daycare. The cafe sits in Charleston's business district, serving overpriced coffee to lawyers and bankers. Sienna works the morning rush, invisible in her black apron and exhausted smile. That's where Dominic finds her. He walks through the door at 7:30 a.m. sharp, looking like he owns the world in his charcoal suit. Conversations stop. Heads turn. Charleston's golden boy doesn't usually visit establishments this modest. Sienna freezes behind the counter. Her co-worker Jenny nudges her. Holy shit, is that the Dominic Blackwood? He's even prettier in person. Pretty. If only she knew how ugly he could be when it mattered. Dominic approaches the counter with careful steps, like she's a wild animal who might bolt. Smart man. Sienna. We're closed, she lies, despite the full restaurant around them. I need to talk to you. No. You need to leave. Other customers watch the drama unfold. Cell phones appear, recording the Charleston elite scandal in real time. Sienna's face burns with humiliation. Please. Just 5 minutes. You had your chance to talk 4 years ago. You chose silence. She turns to walk away, but his next words stop her cold. I know about your mother. Her blood turns to ice. She spins back, fury blazing in her dark eyes. Don't. You don't get to use her pain to manipulate me. That's not what I'm doing. I want to help. Help. She laughs, but there's no humor in it. Where was your help when I was 17 hours in labor? Where was your help when Emma had pneumonia at 6 months? Where was your help when I worked 3 jobs just to keep a roof over their heads? Every word is a bullet, and Dominic takes each hit without flinching. I know I can't undo. You can't undo anything. You walk away, Dominic. That's what you do best. She storms into the back room, leaving him standing at the counter with every eye in the cafe on him. But Dominic Blackwood didn't build an empire by backing down from fights. He follows her. The back room is tiny. Boxes of coffee supplies, employee schedules, the smell of industrial cleaners. Sienna stands with her back to him, shoulders rigid. Get out before I call the police. They're my children too. She whirls around. No. They're my children. You made that choice clear 4 years ago. I was protecting you. From what? The truth sits on his tongue like poison. How does he explain his father's threats without sounding like he's making excuses? How does he tell her that walking away was the most selfless thing he'd ever done, even though it destroyed them both? My father, he would have destroyed your family if I'd stayed. So you destroyed us instead? I thought. You thought wrong. Tears stream down her face, but her voice stays steady. You want to know what your protection cost me? I spent 2 months sleeping in my car after you left. I gave birth alone in a charity hospital. I've worked every day for 4 years, and I still can't afford to buy my children the birthday presents they deserve. Each confession is a dagger to his heart. Sienna, let me. Let you what? Throw money at the problem? Buy your way back into their lives. She shakes her head. They don't need your guilt money. They need stability. They need someone who won't disappear the moment things get complicated. I won't disappear. You already did. She pushes past him toward the door, but he catches her wrist. Gently. Carefully. I love them already, he whispers. I know I have no right to. I know I don't deserve them. But I love them, and I love you, and I can't walk away again. For a moment, something flickers in her eyes. Hope. Longing. But it dies as quickly as it appeared. Love isn't enough, Dominic. It never was. That afternoon, Dominic makes a decision that will change everything. He cancels his 2 p.m. board meeting. Reschedules dinner with the Japanese investors. Ignores 17 calls from Victoria. Instead, he drives to Magnolia Elementary School and waits in the parking lot like some stalker. He tells himself he just wants to see them. Just wants to watch his children be children, even from a distance. He doesn't plan to approach them. Doesn't plan to interfere. Plans change. At 3:15, the school doors burst open and kids flood out like water breaking through a dam. Dominic spots them immediately. Emma's pink backpack bouncing as she runs. Ethan walking beside her with careful, measured steps. They're alone. No adult picking them up. Dominic's protective instincts kick into overdrive. 4-year-olds shouldn't be walking home alone, even in Charleston's safe neighborhoods. He follows at a distance, telling himself he's just making sure they get home safely. That's when it happens. A group of older boys from the middle school block their path. 6 of them, maybe 12 or 13 years old. Bullies looking for easy targets. Hey, look! The charity kids. Emma steps behind her brother instinctively. Ethan stands taller, chin lifted in unconscious imitation of Blackwood pride. We're not charity kids, he says quietly. Yeah. Then why do you get free lunch? Why does your mom clean toilets? Dominic's hands clench on the steering wheel. He should intervene. Should stop this before it escalates. But then Ethan speaks, and Dominic's world tilts. My mom works hard to take care of us. She's the strongest person in the world, and I'm proud of her. Christ. 4 years old, and he's already more of a man than most adults. The bullies laugh. Whatever, loser. Give us your backpacks. No. Ethan's voice doesn't waver. One of the older boys shoves him. Hard. Ethan stumbles but doesn't fall. Emma starts crying. That's when Dominic snaps. He's out of the car and across the street before conscious thought kicks in. 6 surprised faces turn toward him as he approaches, and the bullies suddenly remember they have somewhere else to be. Are you okay? He kneels down, checking Ethan for injuries. I'm fine. But there are tears in his eyes now. They called mom names. People who hurt others are usually the ones who are hurting inside, Dominic says gently. Your mom is incredible. You're both incredible. Emma peeks out from behind her brother. Are you the sad man from the restaurant? The sad man. Out of the mouths of babes. Yeah, sweetheart. I'm the sad man. Why are you sad? How do you explain adult failures to a child? How do you tell your daughter that you're sad because you lost the most important things in your life through your own stupidity? Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes that hurt people they love. And then they spend a long time being sorry about it. Did you hurt our mommy? The question hits him like a physical blow. Yes. I hurt your mommy very badly. Emma considers this with 4-year-old seriousness. Then she reaches out and pats his cheek with her tiny hand. Mommy says when you hurt someone, you say sorry and try to fix it. God. Even his daughter is wiser than he is. What if the person you hurt doesn't want to listen to your sorry? Then you keep trying until they do. Sienna arrives 15 minutes later, running down the sidewalk in her cleaning uniform, panic written across her face. Mrs. Patterson called her when the kids didn't show up. She stops dead when she sees Dominic sitting on the curb with Emma and Ethan, helping them with homework. What the hell do you think you're doing? The children look up, confused by their mother's tone. Mommy, the mean boys tried to take our backpacks, but he scared them away, Emma explains. Sienna's anger falters for just a moment. What mean boys? Dominic stands slowly. Some older kids were bothering them. I happened to be driving by. You happened to be driving by their school? Caught. I wanted to make sure they got home safely. By stalking them? Mommy, what's stalking? Ethan asks. Sienna takes a deep breath, clearly trying to control her temper in front of the children. Emma, Ethan, go inside and start your snacks. I need to talk to this man. They gather their backpacks, but Emma runs back to Dominic first. Thank you for helping us, she says solemnly, then wraps her arms around his legs in a quick hug. Dominic's eyes fill with tears as his daughter hugs him for the first time. When she lets go and runs inside, he has to clear his throat twice before he can speak. I wasn't stalking them. Then what do you call it? Being a father. The words hang between them like a challenge. You don't get to be a father just because you showed up, Sienna says quietly. You don't get to insert yourself into their lives because you finally feel guilty. This isn't about guilt. Then what is it about? It's about the fact that I've missed 4 years of their lives, and I can't get those years back, but I'll be damned if I miss another day. You don't have a choice. They're my children. Our children, he corrects. And I do have choices. Legal ones. The threat hangs in the air like smoke. Sienna's face goes white. You wouldn't. I don't want to. But I will if you force me to. They don't even know you. Then let me change that. She stares at him for a long moment, and he sees the exact moment she realizes he's serious. That he's not going to disappear again. That he's going to fight for this. 1 hour, she says finally. Saturday afternoon. Supervised. And if you hurt them in any way, I won't. If you hurt them in any way, she continues, I will disappear again. And this time, you'll never find us. She turns and walks into the building, leaving Dominic standing on the sidewalk with his heart hammering against his ribs. 1 hour. It's not enough. It's barely a beginning. But it's a start. Saturday afternoon arrives like Judgment Day. Dominic stands outside Chen's Market at exactly 2 p.m., holding gifts he's changed 3 times. A soccer ball for Ethan. Art supplies for Emma. Simple things that won't overwhelm them. Or so he hopes. Sienna opens the door wearing jeans and a guarded expression. Behind her, 2 faces peek out curiously. 1 hour, she reminds him. 1 hour. The apartment is tiny but clean. Cheerful drawings cover the refrigerator. 2 birthday cards sit on the counter, handmade by loving but broke grandparents. It's humble and beautiful and full of the love he walked away from. Emma and Ethan watch him with the cautious curiosity of children who've learned that adults can disappear. I brought you something, he says, offering the gifts. Emma tears into the art supplies with 4-year-old enthusiasm. Ethan examines the soccer ball more carefully. Do you know how to play soccer? Ethan asks. A little. Do you want me to teach you? For the next hour, they play in the tiny living room. Dominic learns that Emma loves to draw horses. That Ethan wants to be a scientist when he grows up. That they both protect each other fiercely and love their mother completely. He learns that they're perfect. Absolutely perfect. And they're his. When the hour ends, he doesn't want to leave. But a promise is a promise. Can you come back next Saturday? Emma asks as he stands to go. Dominic looks at Sienna. She nods reluctantly. I'll be here, he promises. As he drives away, he makes another decision. One that will force Sienna's hand and change all their lives forever. He's going to tell his father about the twins. And then the real war will begin. Reginald Blackwood's office sits atop Charleston's tallest building like a crown jewel. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the empire he built from nothing. Behind his mahogany desk, the 70-year-old patriarch studies his son with calculating eyes. You're telling me you have illegitimate children with some waitress? Dominic stands straight, shoulders squared. I'm telling you I have children. With a woman I should have married 4 years ago. Should have. Reginald's laugh is cold as winter steel. You sound like a lovesick teenager, not the heir to a $12 billion empire. Maybe that's the problem. The words hang in the air like a challenge. Father and son stare at each other across decades of expectations and disappointments. You married Victoria, Reginald continues. You have obligations. Contracts. The European expansion depends on that alliance. The expansion is already complete. Has been for 2 years. Then there's the matter of appearances. What will the board think? The investors? Our partners. I don't care what they think. Reginald's eyes narrow. You should. Because I'm about to tell you exactly what's going to happen. You're going to forget these children exist. You're going to focus on your marriage and your responsibilities. And that woman is going to disappear. Like hell she is. Like hell she isn't. Reginald opens his desk drawer and slides a check across the polished surface. $5 million. More than enough for her to relocate somewhere far from Charleston. Somewhere she can raise those children without embarrassing this family. Dominic stares at the check. $5 million. Enough to secure Emma and Ethan's futures. College educations, comfortable lives, everything he couldn't give them before. She won't take it. Everyone has a price, son. Even proud little birds eventually learn to eat from the hand that feeds them. Sienna discovers the check on her doorstep Tuesday morning. No note. No explanation. Just 7 zeros and Reginald Blackwood's signature. Her hands shake as she stares at the numbers. $5 million. More money than she'll see in 10 lifetimes. Enough to quit both jobs, move somewhere warm, give Emma and Ethan everything they deserve. Enough to buy their silence. She finds Dominic at his office an hour later, storming past security and secretaries like a woman possessed. He looks up from his computer screen, and she slams the check on his desk. What the hell is this? It's exactly what it looks like. You offered me money to disappear? Again. I didn't offer you anything. My father. Don't. Her voice cuts through his explanation like a blade. Don't you dare blame this on him. You went to him. You told him about Emma and Ethan. You opened this door. Dominic stands, moving around the desk toward her. Sienna, you have to understand. I understand perfectly. You want your perfect life with your perfect wife, and we're just inconvenient reminders of your mistakes. That's not true. Then why didn't you warn me? Why didn't you tell me you were involving your father? Because he'd hoped he could handle it. Because he'd thought he could make his father understand. Because he'd been naive enough to believe that blood might be thicker than business. I thought I could convince him. Convince him of what? That his grandchildren deserve to exist. The word grandchildren hits like a physical blow. Emma and Ethan are Reginald's blood too. His legacy. But to him, they're just liability. Mistakes to be managed. Take the money, Dominic says quietly. Sienna staggers backward like he's slapped her. What did you just say? Take the money. Leave Charleston. Give them the life they deserve. Without their father? I'm not their father, Sienna. I'm the man who abandoned them before they were born. I'm the man who let you struggle alone for 4 years. A real father doesn't do that. Tears stream down her face, but her voice stays steady. A real father fights for his children. A real father doesn't put them in danger. What danger? That's when Dominic tells her the truth. All of it. His father's threats 4 years ago. The investigation into her family. The power Reginald holds over every aspect of Charleston society. He can destroy your mother's medical care with a phone call, Dominic says. He can have you fired from both jobs by lunch. He can make sure Emma and Ethan never get into decent schools, never get scholarships, never escape the cycle you're fighting so hard to break. So you want me to run? I want you to be free. She stares at him for a long moment, seeing not the man she fell in love with, but the coward who destroyed them both. You know what, Dominic? You're right. You're not their father. A father would stand up to his own family. A father would choose his children over his inheritance. A father would fight. She turns to leave, but his next words stop her cold. If you don't take the money, he'll take them from you. Her blood turns to ice. What? Custody battle. He has resources you can't imagine. Lawyers, investigators, judges who owe him favors. He'll paint you as an unfit mother. Unstable income, substandard housing, no father figure. They're happy. They're loved. Love doesn't matter in family court. Not when you're facing the Blackwood legal team. The truth hits her like a tsunami. This isn't just about money. It's about power, control, the systematic destruction of everything she's built. How long do I have? Papers will be filed Friday unless you take the check. 3 days. 3 days to decide whether to run or fight a war she can't win. That night, Sienna sits on her tiny couch, watching Emma and Ethan sleep in their shared bedroom. They look so peaceful, so innocent, so unaware that their entire world is about to explode. She thinks about the money. $5 million. They could disappear to Oregon, maybe. Buy a little house with a yard. She could start her catering business, be home for dinner every night, help with homework without falling asleep over multiplication tables. They could be happy. But they'd also be running. Always looking over their shoulders. Always wondering if today is the day the Blackwoods find them. Her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. I have something you need to see. Meet me at the harbor. Pier 7. Come alone. Marcus. Dominic's head of security. Every instinct screams danger. But something in that message, urgency mixed with hope, makes her grab her keys. Pier 7 stretches into Charleston Harbor like a finger pointing toward freedom. Marcus waits at the end, a thick manila envelope in his hands. You shouldn't have come, she says. And you shouldn't have to make this choice. He hands her the envelope. Inside are documents. Legal papers, financial records, photographs that make her blood run cold. What is this? Insurance. 4 years' worth of evidence that Reginald Blackwood uses illegal tactics to control people. Bribery, extortion, witness intimidation. Everything you need to protect yourself and those kids. Why are you giving me this? Marcus stares out at the water. I've worked for that family for 15 years. I've done things that keep me awake at night. But threatening children. He shakes his head. That's where I draw the line. This could destroy the company. Destroy Dominic. Dominic made his choice when he went to his father. Now you get to make yours. Sienna clutches the envelope like a lifeline. What happens to you? I'll be fine. Got an offer from a security firm in Atlanta. Clean work. No more dirty family secrets. And if I use this? Then you level the playing field. Reginald backs down or faces federal charges. Your choice. He starts to walk away, then turns back. For what it's worth, Dominic loves those kids. I've watched him these past weeks, and I've never seen him like this. But love and courage aren't the same thing. He disappears into the night, leaving Sienna alone with the weapons to fight back. Friday morning arrives like Judgment Day. Sienna sits in the office of Catherine Morrison, Charleston's most feared family attorney. The documents spread across the conference table like battle plans. This is comprehensive, Catherine says, reviewing the evidence. And damning. If even half of this is true, Reginald Blackwood should be in federal prison. Is it enough? More than enough. But using it comes with consequences. The Blackwoods will retaliate. They'll try to destroy you personally, professionally, socially. Are you prepared for that war? Sienna thinks about Emma asking why some kids have daddies. About Ethan standing up to bullies twice his size. About 4 years of struggle and sacrifice and small victories. I've been fighting my whole life. At least this time I have weapons. Catherine smiles grimly. Then let's go to war. The confrontation happens in Reginald's office at 3 p.m. Dominic sits beside his father, looking like he's attending his own execution. Victoria is there too, perfectly coiffed and utterly bored. Sienna walks in with Catherine and places the manila envelope on Reginald's desk. What's this? Your retirement plan, Sienna says calmly. Reginald opens the envelope. His face goes ashen as he reviews the documents. Where did you get this? Does it matter? The question is what we do now. This is extortion. No, this is justice. You have two choices. Drop the custody suit and stay out of our lives, or I take this to the FBI, the IRS, and every major news outlet in the country. You're bluffing. Sienna pulls out her phone and shows him a drafted email. Recipients include the Charleston Post and Courier, CNN, and the Washington Post. Try me. The room falls silent. Dominic stares at Sienna with something like awe. Victoria examines her manicure. Reginald calculates odds like the chess master he is. You win this round, he says finally. But this isn't over. Yes, it is. Sienna's voice is steel-wrapped in silk. Because if you ever threaten my children again, if you ever try to use your money or influence to hurt them, I will destroy everything you've built. And unlike you, I have nothing left to lose. She turns to leave, then stops at the door. Oh, and Dominic, don't bother coming to Saturday visits anymore. Emma and Ethan deserve better than a father who only fights when his back is against the wall. The door closes behind her with the finality of a coffin lid. Dominic finds her in the parking lot, running after her like a man chasing salvation. Sienna, wait. She keeps walking. We're done talking. I was trying to protect you. She spins around, fury blazing in her eyes. You were trying to protect yourself. Your inheritance, your position, your perfect little world where difficult choices just disappear with enough money. That's not fair. Fair. She laughs, but there's no humor in it. You want to talk about fair? Fair is choosing your children over your father's approval. Fair is standing up to the man who's terrorized you your whole life. Fair is being brave enough to fight for what matters. I did fight. I gave you the weapons to win. Marcus gave me the weapons. You gave me a check and told me to run. The truth hits him like a physical blow. She's right. When it mattered most, when his children needed him to be strong, he'd chosen the easy path. I love you, he says desperately. I love them. Love isn't enough, Dominic. It never was. She gets in her car and drives away, leaving him standing in the parking lot with his heart in pieces. But as he watches her taillights disappear, Dominic Sterling Blackwood makes a decision that will change everything. He's done being his father's son. It's time to become the man his children deserve. The man Sienna fell in love with all those years ago. The war isn't over. It's just beginning. Dominic stands in his penthouse at midnight, staring at his reflection in the floor-to-ceiling windows. Behind him, his world stretches out in expensive perfection. Imported marble, original artwork, furniture that costs more than most people's cars. Everything his father built. Everything he's supposed to inherit. Everything that means nothing without his family. He picks up his phone and dials Victoria. It's late, Dominic. What do you want? A divorce. Silence. Then bitter laughter. Finally grew a spine. About time. The lawyers will contact you Monday. You can have whatever you want from the settlement. I want my freedom back. That's all I've ever wanted. The line goes dead. One chain broken. Now for the harder one. Sunday morning finds Dominic standing outside his father's mansion, but he's not the same man who left that parking lot Friday night. His shoulders are straight. His jaw is set. The boy seeking approval has died. In his place stands a father ready to fight for his children. Reginald opens the door himself, which means he's been expecting this. Come to apologize. Come to say goodbye. They walk to the study where 3 generations of Blackwood men have made their most important decisions. Oil paintings of stern ancestors watch from gilded frames as Dominic removes an envelope from his jacket. My resignation from the board. From the company. From this family. Reginald doesn't touch the papers. You're bluffing. I'm free. You'll have nothing. No money, no position, no power. I'll have my children. You think that girl will take you back after what you've put her through? The question hits deeper than Reginald knows. Because Dominic isn't sure. He's broken Sienna's heart twice now. Disappointed her when she needed him most. Chosen cowardice over courage at every turn. But love isn't about certainty. Maybe not. But I'm going to spend the rest of my life proving I deserve another chance. And if she says no, then I'll spend the rest of my life being the best father I can be from whatever distance she allows. Reginald studies his son like he's looking at a stranger. You're making a mistake that will cost you everything. I already lost everything. 4 years ago when I walked away from them. I'm just finally smart enough to realize it. Dominic places the resignation letter on his father's desk and walks toward the door. If you leave now, don't bother coming back. Dominic pauses in the doorway. I won't need to. I'm finally going home. Sienna's mother lies in her hospice bed, thin hands clutching a worn Bible. Cancer has carved away everything except the essence of who she is. Fierce, loving, unbreakable. Mama, you should rest. Rest is coming soon enough, baby. Right now I want to talk about that boy. There's nothing to talk about. There's everything to talk about. You love him. Sienna adjusts her mother's pillows, avoiding her knowing eyes. Love isn't enough. Love is the only thing that's enough. Everything else is just decoration. He chose his father over us. Twice. And now he's choosing you. Question is, what are you gonna choose? I'm choosing my children. Like I always have. Honey, those babies need their daddy. And you need your heart back. Sienna's carefully constructed walls crack just a little. What if he hurts us again? What if he doesn't? What if he's finally the man you always knew he could be? Before Sienna can answer, Emma and Ethan burst through the door with Sunday afternoon energy. Grandma, look what we made you. Emma waves a drawing of stick figures under a rainbow. That's you and Daddy and Mommy and us, Ethan explains proudly. Sienna's heart stops. Daddy. The sad man from the restaurant. He's our daddy, right? From the mouths of babes. Sienna looks at her mother, who smiles knowingly. Sometimes children see things clearer than grown-ups, her mother whispers. Monday brings news that rocks Charleston's social foundation. The headline screams across the Post and Courier's front page. Blackwood heir renounces fortune for love. The story spreads like wildfire through social media. Hashtag Blackwood scandal trends on Twitter. Charleston society ladies clutch their pearls over afternoon tea. Business reporters speculate about corporate succession. But Dominic sees none of it. He's too busy apartment hunting. His realtor shows him a modest 2-bedroom in downtown Charleston. Hardwood floors that creak. Windows that actually open. A kitchen small enough that you can reach everything without taking a step. It's cozy, the realtor says diplomatically. It's perfect. Mr. Blackwood, are you sure? I have several properties in the historic district that might be more suitable. This is 3 blocks from Emma and Ethan's school. That makes it perfect. For the first time in his adult life, Dominic Sterling Blackwood signs a lease with his own money. Money he earned, not inherited. It's the most liberating feeling in the world. The knock comes Tuesday evening while Sienna is helping the twins with homework. She opens the door to find Dominic holding a manila envelope and wearing jeans. Jeans. She's never seen him in anything but $1,000 suits. I brought you something. If it's another check. It's not. He hands her the envelope. It's a trust fund. For Emma and Ethan's education. Completely separate from me or my family. They'll have access when they turn 18, whether you forgive me or not. Sienna stares at the papers. College funds that would make their futures secure. Why? Because they're my children, and I want them to have choices I never had. And what do you want from me? The question hangs between them like a bridge waiting to be crossed. Nothing you're not ready to give. But I want you to know something. I left my father. Left the company. Left everything. For us. For me. So I could look at myself in the mirror. So I could be the kind of man Emma and Ethan deserve as a father. Emma appears at Sienna's side, tugging on her mother's shirt. Mommy, is that our daddy? Sienna looks down at her daughter's hopeful face, then back at Dominic. This man who's hurt her so deeply. This man who might finally be brave enough to heal them all. Yes, baby. That's your daddy. Emma launches herself at Dominic's legs with 4-year-old abandon. He crouches down, gathering her in his arms as tears stream down his face. Are you gonna live with us now? She asks. Dominic looks at Sienna over their daughter's head. The question in his eyes is clear. Sienna's walls are crumbling, but she's not ready. Not yet. Daddy's going to visit lots. But he has his own house. Emma considers this with 4-year-old logic. Can we see it? Emma, Sienna starts. It's okay, Dominic says quickly. Maybe this weekend. If Mommy says it's okay. Ethan appears in the doorway, studying the scene with serious blue eyes. Are you going to leave again? He asks. The question cuts deeper than any knife. Dominic sets Emma down and kneels so he's at Ethan's eye level. No, buddy. I'm never leaving again. Even if Mommy decides she doesn't want to be my friend anymore, I'll always be your daddy. That's a promise. What if you get scared again? Smart boy. Too smart. Then I'll be scared and stay anyway. Because being scared is okay. Running away isn't. Ethan studies him for a long moment, then nods solemnly and walks back to his homework. 3 weeks pass in a careful dance of tentative hope. Dominic keeps his promises. Shows up when he says he will. Takes the children to parks and movies and ice cream shops. Never pressures Sienna for more than she's ready to give. He starts working at a small investment firm, managing portfolios for middle-class families instead of billion-dollar mergers. The pay is a fraction of his old salary, but he sleeps better at night. Sienna watches him change. Sees him laugh at Emma's knock-knock jokes. Watches him patiently teach Ethan to throw a football. Notices how he looks at her when he thinks she's not paying attention. Like she's still the most beautiful thing in his world. But trust is a fragile thing, easily broken and slowly rebuilt. The breakthrough comes on a rainy Thursday when Emma falls off the monkey bars at school. The call comes to both parents simultaneously, and they race to the emergency room from opposite sides of the city. They arrive at the same time, soaked and panicked and completely focused on their daughter. Where is she? Dominic demands from the nurse. Room 3. She's asking for both her parents. Both her parents. The words hit them simultaneously. Emma lies on the examination table with a cast on her wrist, milking the attention for all it's worth. Daddy. Mommy. Look what I got. She waves her cast proudly. Oh, baby. Sienna rushes to one side of the bed while Dominic takes the other. Does it hurt? He asks, brushing hair from her forehead. A little. But the doctor says I'm very brave. You're the bravest girl in the world, Sienna says, kissing her cheek. Can you both sign my cast? They look at each other across their daughter's bed, and something shifts. Some wall that's been standing between them finally crumbles. Of course, sweetheart, they say in unison. As they wait for the discharge papers, Emma falls asleep between them. Dominic reaches across the narrow bed and touches Sienna's hand. Thank you, he whispers. For what? For letting me be here. For giving me the chance to be their father. Dominic. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I know I broke your heart and disappointed you and chose wrong when it mattered most. But I love you. I love them. And if you'll let me, I want to spend the rest of my life making up for the time I wasted. Sienna stares at their sleeping daughter. Emma's cast already has 2 signatures, Love, Mommy, and Love, Daddy. Like they're already a family. I'm scared, she whispers. So am I. What if you change your mind? What if the money and the pressure and the expectations become too much again? Then we'll work through it together. All of us. As a family. She looks at him then. Really looks. And sees not the boy who ran away, but the man who came back. The man who chose love over legacy, family over fortune, courage over comfort. "I love you too," she whispers. "I never stopped loving you." He leans across Emma's sleeping form and kisses her. Soft, gentle, full of promise and hope and second chances. When they break apart, Emma's eyes are open, watching them with satisfaction. "Are you gonna get married now?" They laugh through their tears. "Maybe, baby. Maybe. Can I be the flower girl?" "You can be anything you want to be." And for the first time in 4 years, Sienna believes it's true. 6 months later, they stand on the pier where Dominic once broke her heart. But tonight, this place belongs to new memories. Emma and Ethan run ahead, chasing fireflies in the warm summer evening. Sienna and Dominic walk hand in hand, wedding rings catching the harbor lights. "Do you ever regret it?" she asks. "Giving up everything?" Dominic stops walking and pulls her into his arms. Behind them, Charleston's skyline glitters like scattered diamonds. Ahead, their children's laughter carries on the ocean breeze. "I didn't give up everything," he says, spinning her around until she laughs. "I found everything." He's right, of course. This is everything. This moment, this family, this love that refused to die even when it should have. Emma runs back to them, grabbing both their hands. "Come on. Ethan found a really cool shell." They let their daughter drag them toward their son, toward their future, toward the life they were always meant to live. Some love stories end with a kiss. This one begins with a promise. A promise that family isn't about blood or money or position. It's about choosing to stay when everything tells you to run. It's about fighting for what matters, even when you're scared. It's about believing that sometimes, if you're very lucky and very brave, you get a second chance to do love right. And this time, Dominic Sterling Blackwood isn't wasting it. 1 year later, Emma runs through Charleston's historic district in her flower girl dress, petals scattering behind her like confetti. The wedding is small, intimate. Just family and the few friends who matter. Sienna's mother sits in the front row, defying every doctor's prognosis. Cancer may be winning the war, but love gave her this battle. She clutches a tissue as her daughter walks down the aisle, radiant in simple white silk. Dominic stands at the altar, and for once in his life, he's exactly where he belongs. This isn't the fairy tale Charleston society expected. No grand cathedral, no designer gowns, no guest list full of political power and old money. Just two people who learned that real love isn't about perfection. It's about choosing each other every single day. The reception takes place in Sienna's new catering kitchen. She opened Sweet Magnolia 6 months ago with the trust fund Dominic created for the children's education. They agreed the money should help the whole family build something beautiful. The space buzzes with warmth and laughter. Mrs. Chen brought homemade spring rolls. Marcus flew in from Atlanta with his new girlfriend. Even Victoria attended, genuinely happy for the first time in years now that she's free to date the woman she actually loves. But the most important guest couldn't make it. Reginald Blackwood sits alone in his mansion, surrounded by portraits of ancestors who built their empire on other people's dreams. The federal investigation triggered by Sienna's evidence is ongoing. His lawyers say he'll avoid prison, but his reputation lies in ruins. He chose power over family. Now he has neither. Some victories taste bitter, even when they're necessary. Speech. Speech! Someone calls from the crowd. Dominic takes Sienna's hand and stands, his voice carrying over the celebration. 4 years ago, I made the worst mistake of my life. I walked away from the woman I loved because I thought protecting meant abandoning. I thought love was something you could put on hold until the timing was perfect. He looks down at Emma and Ethan, who sit at the head table wearing matching grins and chocolate cake on their faces. My children taught me that love doesn't wait for perfect timing. It creates perfect moments in imperfect circumstances. His voice breaks slightly. Sienna taught me that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's loving someone so much that you'd rather be terrified with them than safe without them. He turns to his wife. Wife. The word still makes his heart race. You saved me from a life I thought I wanted but never needed. Thank you for giving me our family. Thank you for teaching me what it means to come home. The applause is thunderous, but Dominic only hears Sienna whisper, "Thank you for finally being brave enough to fight for us." Later, as the last guests filter out into Charleston's humid night, Dominic finds himself alone with his thoughts. He steps onto the kitchen's back deck, where string lights cast everything in golden warmth. Marcus joins him, beer in hand. Any regrets? Dominic considers the question. A year ago, he was worth billions. Now he drives a used Honda and splits the mortgage on a modest house. His name appears in business sections as a cautionary tale about choosing love over legacy. Through the window, he watches Sienna help Emma out of her flower girl dress while Ethan practices his wedding dance moves in sock feet. His family. His family. Not one. Your father might come around eventually. Maybe. But I'm not waiting for his approval anymore. Marcus nods. That's growth, man. Real growth. They stand in comfortable silence, watching fireflies dance above the garden Sienna planted. 6 months ago, it was just dirt and possibility. Now it blooms with vegetables and flowers, herbs and hope. Like their marriage. Like their family. Like the life they're building one choice at a time. 2 years pass in a blur of school plays and business meetings, bedtime stories and board presentations. Sienna's catering company thrives, specializing in intimate celebrations where love matters more than luxury. Dominic builds his own investment firm, Sterling Family Financial, focusing on helping families secure their futures rather than corporations maximize profits. He makes a fraction of his old salary but sleeps peacefully every night. The twins start kindergarten with confidence and curiosity. They know they're loved completely by both parents. That security makes them brave in ways that still surprise their teachers. Emma wants to be a chef like Mommy. Ethan dreams of building rockets. Both possibilities seem equally achievable in a house where dreams are nurtured instead of managed. The call comes on a Thursday morning while Sienna is prepping for a 50th anniversary party. Dominic's phone buzzes with a number he hasn't seen in 2 years. Dom. It's Dad. Reginald's voice sounds older. Smaller. The federal investigation ended with hefty fines but no prison time. The real punishment was watching his empire crumble under public scrutiny. I'm calling because I'd like to meet them. My grandchildren. Dominic's first instinct is to refuse. To protect his family from the man who threatened to destroy them. But then he remembers what Sienna taught him about forgiveness. I'll talk to Sienna. But Dad, if you hurt them, I won't. I promise. Promises from Reginald Blackwood used to be weapons. This one sounds like surrender. The meeting happens in neutral territory, Magnolia Park, where families play and children laugh and nothing can be controlled or manipulated. Just life in all its beautiful chaos. Reginald sits on a bench, watching Emma chase butterflies while Ethan explains the physics of swings to anyone who'll listen. His grandchildren are strangers to him, but their joy is infectious. They're remarkable, he tells Sienna. They get that from their parents, she replies diplomatically. They get it from you. From the love you've given them. It's the closest to an apology she'll ever get from Reginald Blackwood. But it's enough for a beginning. Emma approaches the bench, studying this serious old man with curious eyes. Are you our grandpa? I'd like to be, Reginald says carefully. Do you know any good stories? And just like that, with a 4-year-old's capacity for instant forgiveness, healing begins. Not complete. Not perfect. But real. Because that's what love does. It creates possibilities where none existed before. 5 years after that first devastating night in the restaurant, Sienna stands in her kitchen, watching Dominic help Ethan with homework while Emma practices piano in the living room. It's chaos. It's loud. It's perfectly imperfect. It's everything she never dared dream when she was counting $30 in a parking lot. Do you remember, Dominic says, appearing beside her with coffee, when you said love wasn't enough? I was wrong. No, you were right. Love isn't enough by itself. But love plus courage, love plus commitment, love plus the willingness to fight for what matters. He wraps his arms around her from behind. That's everything. Through the window, Charleston Harbor sparkles in the evening light. The same harbor where he once broke her heart. Where he finally found the courage to put it back together. Some stories end with happily ever after. This one ends with happily ever working at it. Because real love isn't a destination. It's a choice you make every single day. And every morning, when Dominic Sterling Blackwood wakes up next to the woman he almost lost forever, he chooses love. When Sienna Williams Blackwood watches her husband make breakfast for their children, she chooses trust. When Emma and Ethan see their parents dance in the kitchen while pancakes burn on the stove, they learn what forever looks like. It looks like coming home. Every single day. So what's the lesson here? What can we take from Dominic and Sienna's story that applies to our own lives? Maybe it's that second chances aren't given. They're earned through consistent action and genuine change. Maybe it's that true love requires more than butterflies and grand gestures. It requires showing up when things get difficult. Maybe it's that the greatest luxury isn't money or status. It's being known completely by someone who chooses to love you anyway. Or maybe the lesson is simpler than all of that. Maybe it's that family isn't about blood or birth certificates or legal documents. Family is about the people who stay when staying is hard. The people who fight for you when you can't fight for yourself. The people who see your worst and somehow find your best. Dominic had to lose everything to understand what truly mattered. Sienna had to risk everything to claim the love she deserved. Together, they built something more valuable than any fortune. They built a life worth living. And that's really what love stories are about, isn't it? Not the wedding dress or the Prince Charming or the castle in the clouds. Love stories are about ordinary people making extraordinary choices. The choice to be vulnerable when vulnerability feels dangerous. The choice to forgive when forgiveness feels impossible. The choice to believe that broken things can be beautiful when they're put back together with gold. Dominic and Sienna's story reminds us that it's never too late to become the person your loved ones deserve. It's never too late to choose courage over comfort, family over fortune, love over legacy. The question is, what choice will you make today? Because somewhere out there, someone is counting $30 and wondering if dreams ever come true. Someone is walking away from love because fear feels safer than hope. Someone is waiting for perfect timing that will never come. Maybe that someone is you. If it is, remember Emma's simple wisdom. When you hurt someone you love, you say sorry and try to fix it. You keep trying until they believe you've changed. And sometimes, if you're very lucky and very brave, you get the chance to write a different ending to your story. The kind of ending where love wins. Not because it was easy, but because it was worth fighting for. After watching Dominic and Sienna's journey from heartbreak to healing, I want to know, do you believe people can truly change? Have you ever had to choose between what's expected of you and what your heart knows is right? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else to choose love over fear. And if this story moved you, if it made you believe in second chances and the power of choosing love every single day, please hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to remember that broken hearts can heal stronger than they were before. Because that's what stories like this are really about. Not just entertainment, but hope. The hope that no matter how far we fall, no matter how badly we mess up, love can find a way to bring us home. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Thank you for believing in love stories that feel real, that acknowledge pain while celebrating the possibility of healing. Until next time, keep choosing love. Keep fighting for what matters. And remember, the best love stories aren't the ones that never break. They're the ones that break beautifully, then choose to rebuild with gold.